About 25 days ago, a young man was gunned down because he was considered suspicious. Since when is it considered suspicious to walk down the street eating Skittles and being on a cell phone? This was Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old African American male, was shot by George Zimmerman in Florida because George Zimmerman considered Trayvon to be suspicious. That's a very scary thought, that someone can go from looking at you, decide that you are suspicious, and before 10 minutes or so, you could be dead, and your parents and your family prepare your funeral because you were considered suspicious. There's just been too many of these things where black men, African American males, are shot because someone considered them to be a threat or considered them to be suspicious. Amadou Diallo, I think that was back in the 90s, was shot by the New York Police Department. About 40 shots were riddled into him because they considered him to be a threat. He was only pulling out his wallet to show his ID. Young man not too long ago in New York was shot because the police interpreted that he was trying to flee the scene of some kind of crime. I don't think there was even a crime. They just wanted to question him or something. But he didn't know they were policemen, so he was shot. But there's just been too many of these things where this has happened, where because you are black, you are considered suspicious. In fact, in the black community, parents, relatives are actually prepping their kids and letting them know these are the things that you should not do. If you go in a store, and this is the same thing that was told to me, this is the same thing I understood when I was younger. When I was younger, I understood, and I still do it now. If I buy something, I will make sure, if they said, "Do you want a bag for that?" I say, "Yes, I want a bag for it." Because I don't want anybody thinking that I walked out with it. Also, the understanding is if you're black and you're running, well, first of all, if you're black, you cannot run through a white community because you will be considered suspicious. I remember a friend of mine in college, he told me that he was working out. He used to do taekwondo. He was working out and he did a sprint across the campus. Before he was done with his sprint, the police came after him because they were called and they were told that there's a black man running full speed across the campus. And you think about these things. If Trayvon Martin was white and eating Skittles and was on the phone, would he have been considered suspicious? If a white young man is running across the campus, is that considered suspicious? What this is saying is we have a problem in America. It is the worst thing for us to decide that there is not a problem. First thing we have to do is identify the fact that this is a problem. When young men, young American males, can be singled out, profiled, whatever, and be considered a threat because of their color. And this is not an issue, this should not be an issue that's just a black community issue. This should be an American issue. This is a very tragic thing that a 17-year-old was shot dead innocently. He was innocent and he was shot dead by not the police, but by another citizen who decided that this guy doesn't look right. I need to pursue him. So he pursued the young man, confronted him, and took his life. And the police didn't even arrest him. There was no real investigation until there was a public outcry. There should be public outcries all over this country. There should be people all over the country saying enough is enough. We cannot let this happen to young people in America. We cannot let it happen to anyone, especially though to our young. Everybody in America needs to be concerned for the young of America. Because whatever group that you discard, whatever group that you ignore, whatever group you don't consider important in America, eventually will affect the progress of America. You have to decide, we have to decide, that in America, everybody's important. There's a running joke in the black community. It's not even a funny joke, but it's well understood that if it's a white person, that's a white child that's missing, there's a lot of effort. If it's a black child, yeah, okay. There's not as much effort. And there's been a lot of missing black and white children. But it's sad that a group of people can really believe and see evidence that they're not that important to a country. Everybody's important to this country. Everybody's made a difference in advancing this country. And so for Trayvon Martin and his family, I feel very bad. I feel very embarrassed that we have let this happen in America. And we're still letting it happen. Until we decide to fix this, it will not get fixed. There should not be vigilantes running around here deciding that they're going to shoot people because they thought they were suspicious and then claim it was self-defense. This can't continue. I remember when I was a preteen with my father. I was in the car with him, and he dropped me off at a certain store that I wanted to check out, and he told me meet him at the store down the road, which was a home improvement store. It was called Rickles. So after I was done checking out that store, I was running down to Rickles to go meet my father. The police stopped me and said there was a robbery and we want to check you out and we want to see if you were part of it. And I said, sure, I didn't do anything. So they asked me to get in the car. I got in the car and then they drove me around to the parking lot of Rickles for me to identify my father's car. They asked me for the color, the make, the model, the year, and the license plate. Fortunately for me, I knew all that information, and I was able to give it to them, and they found the car, and they let me go. As I think back, I start to wonder, I said, was that really the truth? Or were they just trying to see, why was this young black man running? He must have done something wrong. But too often in America, that is what happens. We can try to deny it. We can say it doesn't happen. We can say racism is not here, but it is here, and it is very alive and well. So in America, let's really make sure that the outcry for Trayvon Martin is big, but he should not have lost his life. It is so sad. It is so painful for this family to realize that their son, their child, is gone because someone decided that he was suspicious. The fact of the matter is, you don't hear these type of killings happening to white young men. We don't want it to happen, of course, but you don't hear it happening. You only hear it happening to young black men. That's what you hear. And it needs to stop.